someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something. Looks like a man. I don't know what it was. Just that it ran across the yard.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog was killed here just recently. I don't know what it was. Whatever it is, it's running. I couldn't catch it if I was going to chase it. So whatever it was standing up. I'm out here looking through the window now and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better... Gio!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes.
You're listening to Paranormal 411. Coming to you live from an undisclosed location deep within the Appalachian Mountains. Bringing you the unknown with your hosts David Reagan and Jason Scott. Paranormal 411. All right, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, whichever time zone you're listening in. It's Friday, August 5th, 2022, and we are your hosts, Jason Scott
and David Reagan.
Welcome to Paranormal 411.
Hey, if you're looking to find us, you could do that at paranormal411.org. Paranormal 411 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're also on all your favorite podcast platforms. Join us.
Hey, tonight we've got a great show coming your way. UFO Witness with Mr. Ken Bowles. But first, it's that time again for this day in history with David Reagan.
Oh, thank you, Jason.
Welcome.
So like Jason said, today is August 5th, 2022. On this day in 1926, in his last public stunt, American magician Harry Houdini stayed in an underwater airtight coffin for 90 minutes. He bested his rival. What about that? I said rifle.
Rifle.
Yes. Rival's best time of 1 hour. You think about that?
Wow.
He went an hour and a half. Also on this day in 1914, in Cleveland, Ohio, the first electric traffic light was installed. It featured just red and green lights.
No caution.
Yellow. Nope. It was either stop or go. It was like that old thing you played when you was a kid. Red light, green light. And that was just a few things that happened on this day in history.
All right. That sounds good.
Pretty cool, right?
Like I said earlier, we got a great show lined up. Got Mr. Ken Bowles coming on to tell us a few of his experiences. But right before we do that, we're going to have to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. And one of our sponsors is Bo Carey History Tours of historic Loudon, Tennessee. He's got downtown Loudon ghost tours, historic Loudon tours, and a cemetery tour.
Man, they're all fun too.
If you'd like to book a tour, you could do that at https bocareyhistorytours.weebly.com.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you can book it right there.
And it's awesome too. We also have another one, Eddie at Legends and Lore Pizzeria. That's in Madisonville, Tennessee. And great, awesome pizzas. Eddie is proficient in a lot of things. He's ghost hunted and Bigfoot hunted. He actually was talking to me today. He got him a really big, was it the freaking remote control hover things?
Oh, the drone?
Drones?
Yeah.
With FLIR.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So we're
he's
gonna
big timing it.
Yeah. So, but check him out. He uses all fresh ingredients, and the wings there are
Killer wings.
Man, they're bigger than.
So if you're hungry and you local, or if you're not local, drive down. It's worth it.
It's worth every bit of
It's
it.
in Madisonville, Legends and Lore.
Great food. I was there today. I mean, that's how good it is.
Yeah.
I wasn't even hungry, and I went.
All right. We'll be right back after
this quick break.
This is Jeff Reagan of the band Catalyst. Visit Paranormal 411. Click on our link on the right-hand side to listen to or purchase any of our albums on.
Thanks for listening to the show. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Paranormal 411. Join us on the website at paranormal411.org. It's free to sign up and become a member. All of our upcoming shows are on the guest and events page. You can also listen to past shows on the website as well. And if you like the show and want to support us, you can do that by becoming a premium member for only $2 a month. Thanks for listening to Paranormal 411. Join us.
In a world on the edge of oblivion, go to paranormal411.org for all of your paranormal, extraterrestrial, and cryptid.
All right. We're back after that short little break.
Yeah, we want to thank Jeff and the band Catalyst for allowing us to use their music.
Oh, yeah. He's in the chat room right now on Podbean.
What's up, Jeff?
On our website, the chat room is down, so you can listen, but you won't be able to chat.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that after the show. Have to figure out what's going on. Somebody's trying to call. We're not taking calls right now.
Sorry.
Maybe here in a minute.
Oh.
Go ahead, Jason.
So you want to bring Ken on?
Yeah.
Hey, Ken.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
I'm doing as good as the Lord will allow. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, understand you've had some eyewitness reports of some kind of spacecraft or something.
Well, I can't tell you if it's spacecraft or whatever, but I can tell you it's something I've never seen before and would never even fathom to guess what it was.
Right. So before
you like me? Yeah, go ahead.
Before we get into that, you want to go ahead and tell us who is Ken Bowles? I know we met you at the Bigfoot conference, but tell our listeners.
Well, I'm a 52-year-old hillbilly from Fayette County, West Virginia, born and bred. And I was just north of the New River Gorge Bridge. I lived in the same spot for 42 years, except for the 3 years in military, well, almost 4 years military service. But now I'm down here in Crossville, Tennessee, and I'm an exterminator. Yeah, take care of bugs. But as far as who I am, I'm just how I think David Bowie said it was I'm a spiritual being in a material world type deal.
Yeah.
There you
go. I believe in the Lord Jesus, and I know that He is coming soon. So, and I think I've seen, and I can't really say experience. I think experience is a hands-on thing.
Mm-hmm.
More or less, I witnessed a lot more things than I've ever experienced.
Right. Well, do you believe in UFOs or?
I know one man's UFO is another man's either the fallen angels or the holy angels. That's what I believe. I don't believe in extraterrestrials. Of course, I'm not. I could get in debate about it, but
mm-hmm.
I'm not a person that believes in the globe or a heliocentric creation either. I'm more of a geocentric creationist.
I was just wondering how that the UFO sightings you had in your religion, how it went together, because
like I said,
sometimes it could be confusing to me.
Well, it's not really confusing to me because there's so many numerous accounts of people who are plagued or abducted by UFOs that they utter the name of Jesus Christ and immediately it stops. There's power in his authority, and that's the one thing I'm really into is the fact that I know my place. My place is I'm an ambassador of Jesus Christ, and when I utter His name, it's like Him speaking,
mm-hmm.
Because He has given me authority in certain situations.
Yeah.
But that took a long time to realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for and it's just not for everybody. And I don't think myself any more special than anybody else. It's just I've seen things and I've learned from the things I've seen.
Right. So, let's see. I think Jason, he sent me some stuff that just wanting to talk about. So your first UFO sighting?
Okay. I can tell you, the way it all started off, y'all know In Search of with Leonard Nimoy,
yes.
Right? Leonard Nimoy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I can remember, I did too, and I can remember laying on the floor at my mom and dad's house, and I was probably about between the ages of 10 to 12, somewhere in there. And they had UFO count, and I could remember in my head, in my heart, I was like, man, I wish I could see UFO. Now, I think right there at that point, I made a open bid to the spiritual or the dimensional realm, whichever you want to call it. And that opened the doorway for me. Now, do I think I'm special in any count when it comes to that? No way. But I think I did allow things to enter in.
Right.
And now I can remember distinctly. Now, my mom and my brother, they were a witness to this too, but they did not remember whatsoever what I'm about to tell you. So it's on a Wednesday night. Mom, we're at church. I'm 13 years old. Mom and Dad had an Eldorado Cadillac. Okay. It's big. It's got like 12 foot of hood, front wheel drive. It's just a huge car. Now, my mom allowed me to drive it back home. Of course, from the church back to my house is only 2 miles. So I wasn't breaking any speed limits, and in the middle of the night, there was no street lights or anything. So we're just cruising along about 30 miles an hour because that's as fast as I was going to take it. But as we top the hill, now we live north of the New River Gorge. If y'all know the New River Gorge, I live on Beauty Mountain, and that's a huge cliff surface where we have tours, tons of them by the year, to come out to this cliffs to overlook the gorge. Well, as I'm topping what we called Rose Hill, that's just the guy that lived there. We went over Rose Hill, and to come down the hill, I see a huge ball of light, and it's hovering what I thought was on the other side of the river. That's how big it was. Now, the other side of the river is a little over a mile away. So I'm seeing the light inside the tree line. I mean, it's behind the tree line, I should say. And of course, I'm asking my mom, what's that? And she didn't know. So I'm running questions through her. I think, did they open up a new mine? Or is this a mine light that I'm looking at? Because I really don't know. I'm 13 years old. Heck, I don't know this stuff. And as we go down to it, we make a left intersection, goes right and directly in front of the cliff face and up to our house. But as I make that left, that light, I'm looking back in the rearview mirror, and I'm turning my head to look to where the light is. The light is gone, but in its place, there's a big black spot. So, do I know what that is? I have no clue. But I tell you what, when I got back home, my memories was almost in a third person. Like I'm seeing myself, my mother, and my brother getting undressed, getting ready for bed. And that's the last memory I had. It's something I can't identify, and I don't know what it was. So it was just a ball of light, beautiful white light that really didn't project the light anywhere. It was like you could have had a light bulb that gave off no light, but it was brighter than its surroundings. But when I turned that left to go to the house, which is only about 300 yards away, that light went out, and that blackness, there was just a black spot there. Wow. But that was the first one.
Wow. That's pretty neat. I mean, Jason and I had when we first started this show, what was it, in 2012?
Yeah.
We got done with our first episode, walked out on the porch,
mm-hmm.
and had almost the same similar type of thing kind of happen where you had, like what I don't know, just a round white, perfect white light, almost like a street light. And it was really, really high, but it went from west to east. And then, it went fast, faster than what you'd see a plane, and all it was just that perfect circle. And then when it got pretty far to the east, it just blinked out. It just blinked twice and just went out.
Almost like what they call an orb.
Almost like an orb, but it was just, it was a perfect circle, just a perfect white light. Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell it was way out there too. It wasn't close at all.
Nuh-uh.
If I could make just a subjective conjecture about that, about what those orbs or whatever, to me, I know people, they claim to see them before or after a Bigfoot sighting. And in my point of view, and I could be 100% wrong, or I might be 10% right. I have no idea. But to me, they're almost like, the peephole you have in a door that you can look through and see who's outside or who's inside the house or whatever is in that room. Mm-hmm. It's a peephole. And I think that's some kind of dimensional peephole where whatever's behind that peephole is seeing the surroundings before it comes through.
Yep, that makes some sense to us. I mean, because we've had plenty of people on and they talked about seeing these orbs coming through the trees and stuff, and then behind them, almost, a Bigfoot or Sasquatch would come out of the woods. And they thought that it was used in that kind of a manner, almost like to check the woods before they come walking around, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
So,
I mean, I could, like I said, I might be 100% right on, or I might be 10% wrong. I mean, wrong. I have no idea. But that's just something that I had a lot of time to think. I was a truck driver too for 17 3/4 years there, and I had a lot of time to think about stuff.
Yeah. When you get to drive that much in a day, that's all you have time for, right? Just thinking.
Hey, did you ever listen to Coast to Coast?
Absolutely, and I think that's what, and that's Coast to Coast is what made me have a out of body experience.
Oh,
I was listening to that. Yeah, I was out in New Mexico in the high desert, you might say, and I had just witnessed. I've been witnessing for the last 2 or 3 weeks Hellbop, and I was watching it, how beautiful it was, and out in the desert, it was just miraculous. It was beautiful. And I was listening to Art Bell's Coast to Coast, and he had an episode on there talking about, lucid dreaming and how to come out of your body and all that. And I laid down, and my ex-wife, she was a driver too, and we were together, and I laid down in the berth with her, and it was like y'all remember the old black and white or the old box TVs where when the TV station went off, you had that white snow would come on.
Yeah.
That hissing white snow.
Yep.
Well, I had that feeling on the very back of my neck, at the base of my neck, or head, I should say. And it just felt like a fizz. And it would go from the back of my neck or back of my head all the way to in between my eyes on my forehead. And it made a sound in my head. Mm. And it did that like, I don't know, 10 times. And I was just trying to get comfortable to go to sleep. And I kind of woke myself out of it. And my wife, she was laying there, and so she wasn't being affected by anything. So I lay back down, and I thought to myself, I might be about to jump out of my body. And I don't know why it didn't come to me. I guess it was because I was just listening to Art Bell, and he, a power suggestion, you might say. And then all of a sudden that hissing, that white noise, it was almost like it was continuous from the back of my head to my forehead. And within a second, it might have been longer or shorter. It felt like a second, a blink of an eye. I fell out of my body. I fell down through the truck, down to the ground, and I was surrounded by, complete darkness. It was, I knew I was fully awake, and I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see nothing, but I knew I was fully awake. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm out of my body, I wanted to see my mom. And within a second of me saying that, I was coming down out of the roof, out of the ceiling, down to my mother. And I seen her. She has a bad back, and every now and then she'd have to go and lay in the recliner to sleep. So I found her in the living room on the recliner, asleep. And I'm sitting there screaming, hollering at her, trying to get her to even recognize. And nothing would happen. And at the very end, I just pushed everything I could, and I screamed, Mom. All of a sudden, I seen her head jet up and her eyes snap open. And when she did that, I was immediately back in my body. Almost like, I scared her and she scared me back. That's the only thing I think. Now, I couldn't get her to verify that. I couldn't, but I knew I was not in my body. I knew I was out of it. Mm-hmm. But I wish I could have got her to verify that. But of course, and I ain't saying nothing bad. It says with her bad back, her medications at the time did not allow her to have that kind of recollection.
Gotcha.
So when you was out of your body, like when you first noticed it, was you scared?
No, I think the first time when I felt that white snow going from the back of my head to the front of my head, that kind of scared me. I've never felt nothing like it. And that before that or after, I have never felt anything at all. And it was just, I know it's kind of, and when I say white snow, it's because that's what it reminded me of. It's the closest thing I could even come close to making a likeness to, you know?
Yeah. Reason I asked was I too had an experience like that one time, just once, and I hope I never do it again. Because it really scared me. I was asleep, I guess, and I thought I was dreaming, but I came up and was at the top of the ceiling looking down at myself in the bed, and I was, swimming because I was scared. I was trying to get back down to my body, and I couldn't get, something was pulling me through the roof. It lasted for about maybe 10 seconds. I was up there squirming around on the ceiling, and finally, just quicker than you can blink your eye, I was back down in my body. And when I hit it, I woke straight up. It was crazy.
Did you feel like you bounced out of the bed?
I was up, walking around, running around like a freaking chicken with my head cut off, because it scared me to death. I thought I might have died or something.
Well, during that, I couldn't tell you what episode it was, but during the episode that Art Bell was talking, he was a really good interviewer. As he was interviewing the fella, he was talking about how you can do this stuff. Late night, it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, when you're driving out in the middle of the desert. And when he was talking about it, he said, if you have a fear, that fear is the blocker. Fear is would snap you back. As soon as you think of your body, you get snapped back.
Yeah.
That's what this fella was saying. And I was like, maybe for myself, I think when I saw my mom's head snap up and her eyes snap open, I think it jolted me in that same fear. And I was immediately, in fact, I jumped, like a physical jerk.
Mm-hmm.
When you, how you would, sometimes you'd kick when you're in your sleep.
Yeah.
My whole body felt like a kick. I don't know if that might have occurred to you there. Did that when you came back and hit your own body?
Yeah, it could. I can't really remember I can remember the details I shared, but other than that, I just can't hardly remember what happened afterward.
Oh, I can understand that. Now, I tell you what, with that, opening myself up to that first experience, I have had numerous, sleep paralysis. And the last one I remember having a sleep paralysis. Well, I had one here in Tennessee. The last one I had in West Virginia. I was married twice. My second wife, she did what she did, and then we were going through the divorce. Well, I was asleep at my house alone, and I distinctly remember something. Now, I can't tell you it was my physical body it grabbed or my spiritual body, but I felt 3 fingers, 3 like chicken-toed fingers, go across from the back of my head and curl over my face. Mm-hmm. And when it did, it pulled my head, and like I said, I don't know if it's the physical body or the spiritual body, but it pulled my head to where it felt like it put my head in between my shoulder blades. It pulled it back that far. And the only thing that was in my mind was, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus, help me. I kept on crying out to God, please, God, help me. And eventually it went away. Well, I'll tell you, when something like that happened, I learned this hard way. When something like that happens, immediately stop what you're doing and pray and rebuke it and don't let it come back. Well, I go back to sleep like it didn't even happen. And it happened again. It grabbed me the same way. It jerked my head back the same way. Then I come to that. I mean, of course, when finally I rebuked it in Jesus' name, and it finally went away. That came to my realization. Hey, you got to shut this door. Whatever's coming through is until you shut the door, it's going to keep on coming. And I did, and it didn't show back up the rest of it. I mean, I have never had that experience again. But whatever it was, I'm gonna tell you, if you could think of like a chicken foot, that's what it felt like going across the top of my head, and its claws reached down to my jawline.
Wow,
sounds like an alien.
It does sound like something like that, but you like I said, one man's alien's another man's fallen angel.
Yeah, well, you was talking about dimensional. I believe myself that all things are kind of dimensional that's unexplained. I mean, especially aliens and UFOs and Bigfoot. I just think it's all dimensional things Yep.
I'm with you there.
Yeah. Even in your beliefs, maybe that's kind of dimensional too. I don't know. Guess we'll never know until the end of days.
Absolutely, and that's coming shortly. At a theater near you.
Yeah. Seems like it is. When you go,
yeah, it sure does.
I went to the store to get groceries. I mean, I didn't get hardly nothing. Maybe 3 or 4 meals. It was like $230.
Good gosh, you are. That is. You was buying T-bone steak.
That's what it was.
I didn't get a steak one.
I told him he needs to stop buying those T-bones.
No, it wasn't steak. It was spaghetti, hamburgers, and I can't remember. But anyway, I thought it was expensive.
Wagyu, that's
yeah. I'd like to try that. Haven't tried none.
It's pretty good.
Oh, Mr. Moneybags? He's got gout over here. He's eating so much steak.
If you go over and where I took the wife to stay last year at the what is that up in North Carolina there, the that big old house, Biltmore. Yeah, we had it for dinner.
Oh,
yeah, It was on the menu.
Those big bucks.
No, actually, because we bought a suite for her to stay in for her birthday. That meal was included.
Wow.
So that's what happens when you spend lots of money. But it was worth it. It was worth it. It was a birthday present.
Hey, it's time for us to take a quick little break.
Okay.
If you don't care.
All right, Ken, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back real quick, and then we're going to pick up. And what are we going to talk about next, Jason? What are we going to ask?
Well, I mean, whatever he wants to talk about.
Because he talked about how about the evil basset hound? That one sounds pretty.
Yeah.
Know what? I knew you was going to say that.
That one sounds pretty interesting.
All right.
An evil basset. I think that sounds pretty interesting. So.
Yeah, and on into we'll talk about the black cigar chased by F4. I want to hear about that and the cylinder.
Yeah, the cylinders.
Because I did title the show UFO Witness.
Right.
Absolutely.
But we love everything, so
yeah, we do all.
We talk about it all.
Yeah, we do. We'll take us a quick break. We'll be right back. We're talking with Ken Bowles. Remember, we are live on Spreaker and on Podbean. You could also come to paranormal411.org. Sign up, become a member. It's free. Right, Jason?
Yep.
It's completely free. Tonight on Paranormal 411, our chat room is down. So you come and listen, but we have no chat room. So if you want to chat with us, come over to Podbean or Spreaker, and you can chat with us there. We will love seeing you. What's up, Jeff, in the chat room over there? How you doing, buddy? And remember, we do have a book out. You can find it on Amazon. You can search for East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore. You can also look it up by Jason Scott or David Reagan, either way. And it's a great little coffee table book. We would definitely recommend it. 5 stars.
5-star reviews, baby, on Amazon.
That's right. So you are listening to Jason and David on Paranormal 411. We will be back after this quick break.
This is Jeff Reagan of the band Catalyst. Visit Paranormal 411. Click on our link on the right-hand side to listen to or purchase any of our albums.
Thanks for listening to the show. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Paranormal 411. Join us on the website at paranormal411.org. It's free to sign up and become a member. All of our upcoming shows are on the guest and events page. You can also listen to past shows on the website as well. And if you like the show and want to support us, you can do that by becoming a premium member for only $2 a month. Thanks for listening to Paranormal 411. Join us.
In a world on the edge of oblivion, go to paranormal411.org for all of your paranormal, extraterrestrial, and cryptid.
All right. Welcome back.
Oh, yeah. Let's Run, Red, Run.
Catalyst.
By Catalyst.
East Tennessee.
That's right. I want to thank them for allowing us to use their music.
We're having a little trouble with the program, too. It's cutting it off a little bit, but we'll have that fixed next break.
Yes. Actually, I'm doing that right this second. Right now. See, I just did it right there. Bam.
Oh, listen to this. Okay. September 24th, Catalyst Live at the Open Chord in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Guests to be announced. $10 in advance, $15 at the door.
Hey, we went to the last one, too. It was really good. It was a good show.
Yes.
The band that opened up for him was pretty good, too, last time. 7-year sideshow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
So that's September 24th, 2022 at the Open Chord in Knoxville, Tennessee. Put that on your calendar.
We'll be there. Join us.
So we're talking with Ken Bowles. He's telling us some good stories.
Yes.
Is that right, Ken?
Well, that'll be your judge. I mean,
I
think
they're good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy them because I just think they're ordinary stories actually compared to a lot of others I heard.
Yeah.
Well, you said you wanted to listen about the Basset Hound?
Yes, the Basset Hound. That sounds pretty awesome to me.
Well, okay, let me tell you. Okay, this is during the time. After I was married twice, so after my second wife left, this is during the time of course, I was a truck driver and I was running fuel for fuel hauler for a gas station. And so I was every morning I'd get up about 4:30, get ready. It'd still be dark, make me some breakfast, put my stuff together in the cooler, and get ready to go out the door. Mm-hmm. As I'm getting stuff ready, and also during this time, you got to realize that I was listening to everything that God could give me on the internet or on podcasts or on the radio because I had XM radio and I was listening to all good. Because I was in desperate need. To just say that I need some spiritual picking me up every day. Well, as I'm doing everything, I got a sliding glass door, and it's probably about it's in early September, late August time frame. So it's cool at night, and it starts getting hot during the day. So I had all the windows. I had an air conditioner, but it was broke, so I had the windows open. I had the screen door open. And outside, and it's pitch black outside. Outside, I hear this ching, ching, ching. It's not like dog tags being ruffled together as a dog kicks its leg to scratch its neck. I don't know if you can understand what I mean by that.
Yeah,
okay.
I know what you're talking about.
All righty. So I heard that, and I stopped what I'm doing, and I'm looking around. It's like, what in the H is that? I'm just, I was startled, but I was not, I wasn't fearful. Well, as soon as I started going back to what I was doing again, I heard the thing, ching, ching, ching. I said, what in the world is that? And I walked out to the sliding glass door, and I split it open. I threw on the outside light, and I'm looking around. And out from under the porch creeps this Basset Hound, and it creeps out, and it's acting like it's going to make its way up my porch and into my house, like it's making that motion. And I'm gonna tell you the only thing I could relate to this, if you ever had it happen, I felt like this overwhelming fit of rage come over me. And the only thing I can think of is the Holy Spirit was speaking to me. And I pointed my finger at that dog, and I rebuked it in Jesus' name. I said, "You are not coming in my house." And I turned around, shut the door, walked back inside, and I made 2 steps back in the house. And it was like my senses come back to me. And I said, "What in the world did I just do?" And then I turned around, and that dog is gone. I mean, it wasn't even 2 seconds. And you know how quick a Basset Hound is.
Yeah.
It was gone. And up in the hills of West Virginia, I knew 90% of my neighbors and their pets. Okay? And I had never seen this Basset Hound ever. But when I see it pop around that corner, it was like something spoke inside my spirit that this thing meant me nothing but evil. And the only thing I can read and relate to that is you've heard of other people having these projections where these evil creatures, these entities would project clowns and things like that into your head. Yeah. That's the only thing I could think of. I was thinking after I got my wits about me, I was thinking, oh my gosh, was this thing an entity? And it was making me think it was a Basset Hound. But there was no. When I said evil, that's the only thing I could think of. It was like inside me, all I knew was this thing meant me harm. And how many of y'all are afraid of Basset Hounds?
Nope.
Yeah. This was a cool Joe Basset Hound, though.
Oh, it was. I don't think I think it was a spiritual basset hound because this thing, when I'm telling you, it was almost like I was there and I was being used as a vessel. That's the only thing I got to think of.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can relate to that. And I know that might sound goofy to a lot of people, but I've never had that happen before and never had it happen since.
Wow. That's a pretty good story.
That's definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, something that it's coming up and then it's gone. That's definitely, that's something that's spiritual. I don't know. I mean, that would definitely have me step back for a second and be reevaluating what the heck just happened.
Well, that's what happened to me. Is like I said, after I closed that door and made 2 steps back into my house, it was just like it hit me. It was like, what did you just do? And I wasn't fearful, but I did have this I'm going to tell you what, as I progressed in my spiritual understanding, when it came to even things like, sleep paralysis, stuff like that, I come to understand that it's more of an annoyance because they really cannot do anything to you physically. But they can annoy the crap out of it. And I believe that that's what it was happening. I was being annoyed by this creature, and it made me. You ever? No, when you get a burst of anger from being annoyed, like somebody's like poking at you, you're telling them to stop, and eventually you pop. You know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
That's crazy.
You rebuked a stray dog in the name of Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a stray. Apparently, I will tell you what, it wasn't stray because it had the tags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Pretty wild.
Satan's dog.
Could be his hellhound.
One of his hellhounds.
I'll tell you what,
Hell Basset Hound.
Yeah. I probably would have left. Sweated right through my pants if his eyes glowed.
Oh no! Yeah, that would have changed things just a minute. Red glowing eyes. I'd been like, oh no.
I definitely had to change my pants. That's what I would have done there.
Oh man.
Yeah. So,
would you like?
Go ahead.
Okay.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, y'all, you want to hear about the weirdest story I have? Is when I was in the Army down Fort Stewart, Georgia, with a Ouija board.
Oh yeah, I have a good Ouija board story too. So yeah, I like some Ouija board stories.
Well, this is not a good one. This is just I'm a complete advocate of never even touching one of those. But okay, so I'm in Fort Stewart. I'm in the first and 64th Armored Tank Division, and I'm in Alpha Company, and I'm pulling me and a Sergeant Boyle. We're pulling a CQ duty at headquarters, and this is during the time of Noriega down in the Philippines. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're doing CQ duty, and they're loading up our tanks and armored personnel vehicles and stuff on the railroad, a railroad system going from Fort Stewart, Georgia, up to Wilmington, North Carolina, at the dockyards to load up merchant marine ships. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pulling a full CQ duty, which is 24 hours of being awake. And during that time, there's only so much sweeping you can do, or there's only so many times you walk around and check the trash can to see if they need to be empty or not. So about 3 o'clock in the morning, Sergeant Boyle, he makes a suggestion, man, if we had a Ouija board, we could have some fun. And here in my, I'm a private, and I thought, well, I mean, I can make one. And I took a piece of paper and I laid out the alphabet and the numbers and the yes and the no's on it. And then I took a 1 pound coffee can lid, cut the center out of it, about the size of the letters on the piece of paper. And I took 3 bottle caps and put it on the underside for my planchette. And we started playing around, and we did it for an hour or two, and it finally started taking off. And I asked it a dumb question. I asked it because I knew I was going to Wilmington, North Carolina, because when you know it, as soon as we got the ships loaded and started heading down towards Panama, Noriega gives up and everything's called off, so they send the ships back to Wilmington, North Carolina to be unloaded to put it back on the rails and bring it down to Port Storage, Georgia. Well, anyway, so I knew I was going the next day up there. So I asked the Ouija board, am I going to have a safe trip? And it said no, which didn't really instill with me. It was all kind of happy.
You're right.
So, yeah. So that went on. It started making these it really got fast. The longer we did it, the faster it went, and the more it was jerking the planchette around. So Sergeant Boyle, he gets wigged out, and he draws a couple crosses on it and balls it up and burns it and throws it away. So the next day, I get loaded up, and I'm sent up to Wilmington, North Carolina on a bus. And, of course, I'm unconscious the entire time. I'm wore out. I get up there. I'm in full BDU with my web gear and all that stuff. I got it all on me. And they send me into the Merchant Marine ship, and you go in through the side, the belly. And we would go down, and we go down 3 levels, and it kept a armored car. I had at the first one was just a 113. It's just a small scout vehicle. It's a scout vehicle, and I drove it out, took it all the way down to the end of the rail line, and then you drive up on top of the railroad, the flat cars. You drive all the way up to the front. So I drove up 20 flat cars from the very end all the way to where I could park it. Got back off there, went back over to the Merchant Marine ship and got a 577, which is a command armored car. And it's a tracked vehicle too. So I'm going up out of that, and I had, like I said, I had my Kevlar on. I have my head is just sticking above the driver's cockpit opening, and the lid is above me in the locked position, and it's about 75 pounds. So I'm making my way across the parking area that leads to the railway, and all of a sudden I get slammed. I get shoved down into the driver's seat and down into the driver cockpit area. Well, I couldn't. I struggled. Thank God my helmet was on, because if not, it would have crushed my skull. That's how it hit me hard. So I pushed the lid back up, and I seen it physically lock. I jerked on it a couple times. It did not move. So I drove about another 20 to 30 yards, and I get slammed back down inside the driver's seat again. This time I pushed it up, and when I got locked, I looked around inside, and there was a tool bag, and I grabbed me a crescent wrench, and I jammed it underneath the locking mechanism to ensure that lid wouldn't come back down on my head again. So I drove it. That was my first 2 incidents. I drove up on the railroad car, got it all the way parked up front again as far as I could. Got off that, and I was making my way. Here I am. I already got my head's just ringing, and I end up coming up to my staff sergeant of our platoon. And next thing you know, he said, "Yeah, okay, just send Bowles." And I was like, "Oh, what did I do wrong?" And he said, "Yeah, just send Bowles." And next thing you know, I'm in a 25 vehicle convoy, and I'm like 18, 19 vehicle back on the list. I'm like on the 18th or 19th vehicle, and I'm driving at the time we had SUVs were just coming out. Not the SUVs, but the Humvees were just coming out.
Yeah,
and they were becoming more popular, and they were trying to get rid of the Cut V's and the Cut V Blazers and the Cut V pickups. And I had a Cut V Blazer, and so I'm like vehicle number 19, and we're going down. Now y'all guys probably know this place, I-95 at North Carolina and South Carolina at Pedro, south of the border. Y'all know where that's at, right?
I don't know if I've ever been there. No, I can't say I have.
Hey,
You didn't been on
I-95, is that right next to the ocean?
It's close, yeah. Close that way, yeah.
I've been on there.
But they have, on the right where North Carolina and South Carolina meet, there's Pedro south of the border. It's a big carnival place. They have stuff you see at Gatlinburg, but a lot more fireworks.
Gotcha.
You know, and so we're coming in. We're probably about, I'm going to say 10 miles from that, and we were going through the wooded area that opened up just into a huge cornfield. And as I'm coming out of the wood area into the cornfield, I noticed way off to my right and way in front of me, not off to my right, but more directly ahead of me, but off to the right, just slightly, you know. Out of the other side of the cornfield where the woods meet the cornfield again, this black ball starts rolling across the corn, across the top of the corn. It's not crushing the corn, but it's rolling over the corn like the corn itself was a solid surface. And as I'm driving along, that black ball makes its way all the way across the cornfield and plows into my truck. And I could hear multiple, like, I don't know if it was bees or flies, but they're just pounding into the truck, and he engulfs it and then moves on like it never even happened. Well, we get down the road another 3 or 4 miles, and we hit a rest area, and of course it was a mandatory rest. Everybody pulled off. That's where we get food and drink and stuff like that, and get recharged, get some coffee for a long trip. An 8-hour trip turned out to be a 13-hour trip when you talk about military convoy. Okay.
Yeah.
So I pass a bunch of them. They go really slow.
We do 50 miles an hour. Yeah. Breakneck speed. But anyway, so my truck was engulfed and it moved on. The guy behind me, as soon as I pulled in and parked, I no sooner got out of my vehicle than the guy that was behind me, he runs over to me, and he's just freaking out. He said, "Oh my God, did you just see that? Did you just see that?" I was like, "Yeah, I was there," you know. And I'm gonna tell you, I was just wore out. So when I get wore out, I just don't care. So I was at that point, and he was just freaking out. He's literally losing his mind. So we walk over around the truck, and there's not a stitch. There's not one bug carcass anywhere on that thing. So all I can tell you, it looked like a giant ball of bugs. But, I mean, it was a perfectly round sphere. There was no doubt about it.
Wow.
But it hit the vehicle. Yeah, it wasn't like a glob. It was a perfectly round sphere of bugs. And as it was hitting, I could see their bodies smacking against the windshield, but nothing was left. They smacked and went on. But that was, without a shout out. Now, of course, when I got back to Fort Stewart, you get back to your barracks, and I don't think I woke up for the next 2 days. But that was my, I don't know why I opened myself up to the Ouija board, but I do believe that was something that was fully because of me opening myself up to the Ouija board. And I can't explain either why I got my head slammed in from something that I knew that was locked solid twice to having a ball roll over me in the middle of a egg on I-95.
Right.
So
Wow.
that's I'm a strong advocate of say no to Ouija.
You gonna tell him about yours?
I've done some Ouija board one time before, and it was definitely it was kind of fun, I guess. I'll never touch another one. At least I don't know. I can't never say never, but I don't think I'll ever touch another one. Me and a buddy was I was at his house and he had one and was bored, so we decided to play with it. And like you said, the thing that's funny about them is that the longer you mess with it, the faster that planchette will start moving. And it just gets faster and faster and faster and answers your questions quicker and quicker and quicker. Well, my buddy, at the end of the road that he lives on, there's a cemetery. And we ended up talking to this, was supposedly talking to this lady. And she told us she was buried at the end of the road, told us where to find her grave, literally. So we was like, you know what? We're going to take a walk down there and we're just going to see. Now we walked to the end of the street and we found her grave. She told us exactly how to get there. And, so we decided to, put it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
I could understand that.
We put it up. It was like, yep, that's enough.
That was enough to verify its evil intent, huh?
It was definitely, it was definitely wanting to talk to us. And I was just like, wow, this is, I don't know, it's something. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can say that it was a little scary. And this is coming from somebody that's, seen ghosts pretty much their whole life. I was like, yeah, I'm done with it for the night, and never touched another one yet. And that was
that's one thing I've never experienced or a sighting of a ghost. I've never seen something like that, but I have seen, out of the corners of your eyes, movement and stuff you just can't explain. That's as close as I could ever say about ghosts.
Right. Yeah, I've seen ghosts since I was 3. And yeah, they used to scare the what out of me when I was a kid. And they'd chase me around the house. So it was something. When I was a kid, it was scary. So
would you say you've had more paranormal experiences than Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that I have caused Jason to have paranormal experiences.
Yeah, I do believe that happens too. I believe the thing is like I was saying before, I believe if you open up a door where you have that want or desire, it might not come in the way you want it to come, but I believe if you have that yearning, it will feel that yearning, and it's good or bad, it will feel that yearning.
Yeah, the only thing that I've experienced as far as ghosts and spirits would be just through the equipment and stuff, and I've never really seen a ghost, but I've heard the EVPs and I've seen the equipment go crazy.
Like tonight.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff in the chat room says he has a story of a demon.
Oh.
He's wrote it out here for me. Said he was at the state fair eating a funnel cake.
What?
Yeah, he was at the state fair eating a funnel cake, and he was summoned to a porta potty. He broke a sweat and started speaking in tongues.
Oh, no.
As he sat there, the walls disappeared.
What?
Yeah.
That would be embarrassing.
Come on, Jeff, you're going to have to be quicker than that.
Maybe he was in there for some deep breathing exercise.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you what happened to my wife while we was down in Alabama.
Oh, no.
She took the kids to this shell beach to pick up shells and stuff. And they have lifeguards there, because it's a state park.
Uh-huh.
And Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, that's never happened before.
Talking up the spirit.
Paranormal.
Hey, 411.
Yeah, and she had to go to the bathroom, and all they had was porta potties. And
that's weird. Hold on.
I got it right here.
That's
okay.
TV just turned on by itself.
That's crazy. Well, back to the story. All they had porta potties, so she opened a porta potty, and there was a lifeguard in there. I guess the door was broke, and he was perched up like a chicken laying an egg on that on the seat of the porta potty, and he started screaming. She said. He was screaming. He said, "I know this looks weird, but I don't want to touch this."
He's laying some brown eggs.
Yeah, he was dropping some eggs, and he didn't want to touch the seat. But I'd say that's something she'll never forget.
That's something I'd want to forget. That's for certain.
Oh my Lord.
Yes, Jeff, we do take calls. If you want to call in, I think we need to go to a quick break though. What do you think, David?
Right.
We could do that. We could definitely go to a quick break.
Okay.
Do
one quick break and then come back, and then we'll take Jeff's call.
Take Jeff's call and see what he has to say. See if he's got any questions for Ken.
Yep. And then, and then we're also ask Ken some more questions about that. What was that? That silver cylinder? Was it the black cigar?
Yeah,
the cigar.
Oh yeah.
Chased by the F4 and stuff.
Yeah, I want to hear about the F4 and the cigar. So, David,
all right,
take us out.
We are talking to Ken Bowles. And you're listening to Jason Scott, David Reagan on Paranormal 411. Right? Sign up, become a member. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And we will be back right after this quick break.
This is Jeff Reagan of the band Catalyst. Visit Paranormal 411. Click on our link on the right-hand side to listen to or purchase any of our albums. In a world on the edge of oblivion, go to paranormal411.org for all of your paranormal, extraterrestrial, and cryptid.
Thanks for listening to the show. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Paranormal411. Join us on the website at paranormal411.org. It's free to sign up and become a member. All of our upcoming shows are on the guest and events page. You can also listen to past shows on the website as well. And if you like the show and want to support us, you can do that by becoming a premium member for only $2 a month. Thanks for listening to Paranormal 411. Join us. All right. We're back from that quick break.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. So, we're talking to Ken Bowles, and he has a lot of very, very interesting things that's happened to him. Evil Basset Hound. I would have never thought about an evil Basset Hound.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
I remember talking to him at the Bigfoot conference, though, and he did have some really good stuff, as far as the UFOs and all that stuff too that he's seen. So we will bring Ken back on. What's up, Ken? How you doing?
Yeah, still going good.
All right. So
I do appreciate y'all talking with me about this stuff too. I mean, it's nice to know that there's people out there without being mean about stuff, that just open to listening about your experiences.
Well, absolutely. That's the thing is that I know there's a lot of people out there that'll roll their eyes and whatever. And
oh yeah,
but I don't know. For me, I've had experiences of different kinds throughout my life, especially in the paranormal side. And I understand how it feels to have someone rolling their eyes at you and looking at you funny, and more than likely probably even talk behind your back saying, oh, this guy, whoa, yeah. But you know what? That was who I was, and that's who I've always been. I've never hid it. And that's what, got Jason and I to start to do the program that we do and stuff is because of, we like to hear these kind of things and have a safe place for people to come and talk about their experiences and stuff, and not feel like they're being judged or anything else,
Absolutely.
So we also appreciate you coming on and telling us.
Did you get the book? Did you get the
Which
book?
book was that?
Oh, our book that we had up there at the convention.
No, sir, I sure didn't.
Well, there's a story in there. It's called The House on Summer Street.
Yes.
I think that's what it's called.
Yep.
Anyway, that's my paranormal debut. That's what started this show, that story. And when we first started, me and David, we called it myhauntedhouse.com.
Yeah.
Because his house was creepy, let me tell you. And
a lot more than just creaking old wood floors or anything like that. Huh?
Oh yeah, I've got
I'll tell you,
of a little girl.
Yeah,
the
experience I had was with the EMF and the EVPs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He called me over. Well, we used to work together, and after work one day, David said, "Come on, man, come over here. I got something. We got to investigate this house. Something's in here." And I said, "Okay." So I downloaded a bunch of stuff on my phone, EVP recorder, and all this stuff, and this was back in 2012, and it might have been 2011. I don't know exactly, but I came in. David was telling me about all his situation, and I sat down in his chair, and I started using that EMF reader, around, swiping it around, and every time that I would go toward my knee, that thing would just go crazy.
Like there was something in it?
Yes. I don't have screws or nothing. No
plates.
Metal. Didn't have metal in my pockets, but I kept doing that. And while this was going on, we were asking questions because it was recording too. And when I'd get to my knee, I said, "Are you sitting on my lap?" Or knee or something.
Lap. Yeah, you said lap.
Yeah, I said, "Are you sitting on my lap?" So, and that thing was going crazy. And when we listened to the recording back, after I said, "Are you sitting on my lap?" you can hear something whisper and say yes.
Like a little girl or something?
Yes. Like a little girl.
Yep.
So we did that for about, 30 minutes, I guess, fooling with it. And David said, okay, that's enough. And after he said that's enough, it went away. Nothing else happened.
Yep.
Now that's pretty crazy. And I got up and told David, I said, well, I'll see you later, David. I got to go.
It took me 2 weeks to get him to come back to my house again. Can you believe that? I don't know why.
Yeah.
So, just a point of view from my point of view, I try to look things biblically and stuff. I do believe when you said that's enough, it was like, they have to abide by a certain rule. And if you call them out or you stop them, they stop. They have to.
Well, something that I've learned over the years, and like I said, I've been able to see these things and deal with these things since I was 3 years old. And so one thing that I've always learned is that as long as you take control of your space, right? So that's your house, that's your everything. And if you say, okay, that's enough, you've got to go or whatever, it happens. I mean, it happens every time, but you've got to take the control. You can't do it from a place of fear. You can't do it from a place of any of these other things. You have to take control of it. And, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just, that was pretty much the end of it.
What I was going to say is when I bought my house here in 2014 on Crossville, the first thing I did is I started at the far end of the house and I blessed every window and every doorway. And as I was praying, I was telling them, this is not yours anymore. You got to go. And whatever it was, because I wasn't going to have any chances of anything bothering me in my house. And that's immediately what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you lived in Crossville? That's where I'm originally from.
Well, I actually live here at Lake Tansy. I came down here. You know at Lake Tansy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there quite a few times in the summers.
Yep.
Well, the resort's wide open, so if you want to come on down, come on down. But as it goes, I came down here. I had nearly broke my neck when I rolled over my tractor trailer going up the mountain there, and I was in recovery for about a year. So during the last 6 months of my recovery, I came down here to be with my brother on a vacation just to get away from the house because, I was stuck in the house the entire time. So I came down here and I fell in love with the place, went back home, and I vacillated between coming and going. Am I going to go? Am I going? I did that for about 2 weeks, and he calls me up saying, "You coming or not?" I ended up packing up my vehicle the best I could the next day, and I drove down here, and I got one of those condominiums on the Cherokee Trail around Tansy. And I stayed there for about 6 months, and once about 6 months was in, I got my credit to where I wanted it, and I bought the house. I bought here on Pawnee Road. And I've been here since August of 2014.
Well, that's a really nice place over there. When I was there, it was just a campground, and they had a few like paddle boats, and they had a little pavilion where you could go and play video games and stuff.
Right.
But it's got big now.
Oh yeah, Crossville is Cumberland County is supposed to be the golfers' capital of America.
Yeah.
With so many golf courses and such.
I remember we was out there. We stayed probably about a week at a time in a camper, and we was just young kids, and everybody be real loud, and you can hear people going. They would try to tell us to be quiet, but they'd say, "Shh, management." We'd just be that much louder. but it was pretty good experience for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Jeff, are you on the line here?
My family, yeah, that's where we're from, is there. So we
Well, Crossville is growing when we got a Bucky.
right. My uncle,
I'm gonna tell you what.
owns he has a mission up there, and he does a mission. It's a big mission there in Crossville, Tennessee.
Wouldn't be part of Bread of Life, would it?
That is my uncle's, Bread of Life mission. Yeah, Ralph Reagan is my uncle.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. Help serving there too.
Yep. That's
It's good people.
That's my family.
Good deal. Good stock.
Wow, you just know each other and didn't even know it.
All right.
Well, you want to hear about that black cigar?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you all things I've never told anybody about this story, okay? Because it's in a way, it's embarrassing, but it's just truth, okay?
Okay.
This happened, I can't remember if it was my 17th year or 18th year when I was 17 or 18. But all I know, it was hotter than blue blazes. And Mom and Dad had a Horton 2, was a double, what do they call it? Double side trailer or double wide. Okay, a Horton double wide trailer. We lived in that, and they would never buy air conditioning. My dad was in a constant state of frozen. Even in the middle of summer, my dad wore long sleeve shirts, long pants, long underwear, a jacket, and a toboggan.
Oh no!
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, he served a lot of time underground at 50 degree temperatures, in the mines. But even in the middle of summer, he would wear that everywhere he went. And of course, we didn't have cars with air conditioning either, so we only had 465, right? I mean, of course, 455 back then, and that was the air conditioning. So the day it started off, Mom and Dad they left to go across the river, go to the grocery store, get what they needed. And so I'm at the house by myself. I don't even know where my brother is at this time. And I don't know if you remember the Robotech series. There was a cartoon that was played on Fox. It was about airplanes changing into robots and stuff. And,
oh yeah.
But there was they had a series of books, and there was 23 books altogether. And I was probably in book 20 at this time. And I was I had turned one of the chairs in the living room face the fan. And this is where the embarrassed part. I was in my birthday suit because it was hot in that house. And I had that fan blasted on me. And I had my feet propped on either side of the fan, and me leaned back in the chair reading that book. Growing up, you would hear the sonic boom, and you would see. I seen my first A-10 Warhol fly through the gorge. Okay, it was white, and me and my dad was squirrel hunting, and it was a winter time, and this white A-10 Warthog flew through the gorge, and it was where they fly with their wing tip down and one wing tip up, one wing tip down. Mm-hmm. That's the way he was flying through the gorge. Well, so that happened a lot, especially when they was mapping the terrain, during the military exercise. This before the New River Gorge became a state park, and then after that became the national park. So I heard that boom, and I thought, well, okay, I'm gonna go see this jet, because I ain't seen one in a while. And I jump up and I run outside on the front porch, which is about 12 feet off the ground. Okay. And here I am, and I'm just in all my God's glory there. And from my left to right, this basically a black cigar. It was tapered on both ends, There was no markings, no windows, no nothing. It was just like basically a cigar, just black. There was no features to it whatsoever. And it was a jet length away from the F-4 Phantom that was directly behind it. Okay, and the F-4 Phantom was the Air National Guard from West Virginia, because you could see the crescent, or the shield that was on the tail fin. And as it goes by me, and this is just above treetop level, as it's going by, and I run out to the railing of the fort, I could see the pilot's white helmet. He had the black goggles on and a white helmet, and he turned his head and looked down at me as I ran out to the porch. And it only took took less than 2 seconds. You know, like if you could say 1001, 1000, and then they were gone. That's how fast they were. But because the F-4 Phantom had, you know, when you see a jet go into going past the sound barrier, you see that conical shape of flame, but it had 3 brakes in that conical shape of flame behind the jet. And if it had been another jet in front of it, the wash from the other jet would have made that jet crash. Yep. Because there was no, it was just that close. And so they blast past me. And at this time, this is what confused me, because I tried to relay this story to other people to get a bearing on what day happened, or where all this other stuff happened, is because at the time there was a state trooper that was doing a prisoner transport on a small plane, and it had crashed somewhere, and they were doing searches. And of course, I was listening to this 2 or 3 days on the news, how they hadn't found anything yet, hadn't found the airplane or any bodies, or recovered any aircraft. And I thought, oh my gosh, I just seen the F-111, you know, the new one, because the SR-71 was being mothballed at this time. And I thought, oh my gosh, I just saw the new stealth fighter, you know? And so it really didn't occur to me there was anything else but that for the longest time. So they blast by, and I thought, wow, that was really interesting. I go back, I get in front of the fan again, I pick up my book, and then I heard a second. And it seems like this was like in 5-minute intervals. Then I heard the second sonic boom, where another I thought was the original jet coming back. So I run back outside, on the porch again, and directly in front of me, rather than from left to right, directly in front of me comes another F-4 Phantom, and it does it tilts its left wing down, or actually it would be the left wing down. It tilts its left wing down, its right wing up, and almost does like a 90-degree bank. And then as it clears the bank, it rotates back, and it does a level flight again, and it's gone. It goes the same direction as the other two went. I was like, wow. I mean, I'd never seen that before, but I thought, you know, this was pretty doggone cool. What was going on in my head is like, man, they're really looking for this state trooper and this prisoner. And so I go back inside. I had no sooner gotten back inside and sit down in front of the fan again, then all of a sudden, everything in the house shakes. I mean, you can hear the glasses rattling together. You can hear the cabinet doors smacking together. You can feel the vibration, and you can hear a low rumble. So I was like, wow, I just experienced my first earthquake. You know, for, you know, a 17, 18-year-old kid, this is big news, okay? So no sooner did that happen than I hear my mom just beating on the door, bam, bam, bam. And she's screaming at me. Of course, everybody back home knows me as Charlie Brown. She said, Charlie Brown, open this door. And I jump up, and I'm And I'm still stark naked. And I jump up, I grab my pants and stuff and start putting my other stuff. And she open this door. Why don't you get out here and get these groceries? So I scrambled. As I was going up the door, I said, Mom, Dad, did y'all feel the earthquake? Did you feel the earthquake? And they was like, "Damn, shut up and get to the groceries." You know, they were hot, they were miserable, they're wore out. And, you know, I understand they was being short with me, but I was excited, and of course they didn't want to put up with it. So I hope somebody out there remembers this. Is in Fayette County, we had a TV station, Channel 4, WOAY TV4. It's in Fayette County, West Virginia. And there was a news anchor named George Strange. Okay. And he did look a little strange. He had dark eyebrows and gray hair. So, I mean, black eyebrows and gray hair. So he was just your typical 70s, I mean, not 70s, but early 80s newscaster. Well, he comes on, and I'm thinking, man, they're gonna say something. I sit down, I'm watching, I'm with bated breath waiting for the news report about that earthquake. Well, he comes on and he spouts off a few things. So they do like a 5-minute intro to the news segment. And during that 5-minute intro, he says, and I can't remember where, but he says, some such and such place in West Virginia was recorded to have a 5.2 above ground explosion on the Richter scale. Mm. And I was like, oh man, I bet you that airplane crashed. And that was in my head. I was like, I bet you this airplane has crashed. And I waited and I watched the entire news segment. You know how kids like watching the news, right? I was excited to watch the news today, and not like any other day. I was waiting to hit because I knew I experienced the earthquake, but I didn't know why would it be above ground explosion at 5.2 on the Richter scale. Well, anyway, so I watched the entire thing. He never mentioned it again. Nothing was ever brought up, and I have no idea why it was never brought up. But even when he mentioned it, he said this. You know, it happened in so and so in West Virginia. I thought for certain he was going to at least mention say a mine explosion or something, but nothing else was ever mentioned about it. And I'm going to tell you, the craft itself. The only thing I could hear was the F-4 Phantom that was directly behind it. I don't know if it made a sound. I couldn't hear it. But I know one thing it did. I could see the waves of. You ever get that side view of some TV? I mean, some shows about aircraft, and you'll see like where the air bends around. Yeah. The craft. Yeah. The aircraft. The air was bending around certain points of the F-4 Phantom, but it wasn't with the cigar. That black thing had, like I said, it had absolutely no. It was just a black. There's no other way to describe it. It was totally featureless and just looked like it was tapered on both ends. That was it. And it was about 2.5. I just looked up. F-4 Phantom's roughly about 63 to 64 feet long.
Wow.
This thing was at least 2.5 times the length and about the same height, about 16 feet high. It was 2.5 times the length of the F-4 Phantom, but it, like I said, there was nothing more to it.
Mm. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's for me. That's a freaking awesome story.
Yeah.
I mean, you see.
I wish.
Go ahead.
What I was going to say is, I wish that I could verify it some way. You think some kind of. I tried to go by the route of calling. I called up like the seismologist. What do you call it? Office or institute. Mm-hmm. And I've actually contacted them through emails and texting and phone, and they have nothing on record of West Virginia ever experiencing anything 5.2 above ground.
Hmm. Wow.
I don't know why that could be expunged. Something like that could be gone.
Yeah, that
government. They like to hide stuff.
I didn't play the fight.
That's what we have to deal with all the time. They like to hide stuff. It's just like with what's going on with the UAP task force.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I did do. I did contact MUFON, and I gave them a diagram. I took a Google Maps picture of the house, and I diagrammed the direction in which they were going. The fact that they were going I told them where the other aircraft came from, the approximate times in between the two, and even the fact that how long I actually saw it. And I sent it in, and I didn't get not even one call back. I could not be the only person that's seen that.
What base is around there that they would have flew out of?
It would more than likely probably be about the Charleston area, or maybe or down at the Bluefield area.
They might have some old paper reports or something of it. That's
you'd have to do a Freedom of Information Act to get it, probably.
Yeah.
And then of course with that you also have to have certain dates and time.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit there and go through all the records just to see if you're right or not.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
Well, for me, I think, I don't know. I mean, the level of detail in that, what did MUFON, did they ever get back with you on that?
No, I have not heard nothing from them.
Wow.
Of course, I think we only had one fella in that area. I think he was down in the Charleston area, but I don't know how they're organized. I called him. I even talked to him on the phone for a few minutes. That's all he had time for me. And after that, nothing.
That's pretty wild.
That is pretty wild, because usually, especially on an eyewitness like that, they'd come out and do a field report and everything usually. So that's pretty crazy.
So do they have a MUFON in West Virginia?
They had a representative. I don't know. Yeah, they did. I don't know if they still do or not. I'm sure they do, but at that time, I only knew, only contacted the one.
Yeah. That sounds like a good sighting they messed up on. They missed it.
Well, this happened around about 2:30 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
You can finish. I was going to tell you we got time for about one more, which the one I want to hear about too. But go
Absolutely.
ahead. Finish what you was saying.
I was just going to say, so when I seen the second one in the daytime too, but I cannot understand how anybody else did not see that. I mean, you'd have to be totally. At that time, there was no cell phones. Heck, we didn't even have. We had to collect in sunshine for most of the parts in West Virginia. So, this I don't understand why anybody else could not have seen that, especially if it crossed the New River Gorge, and it had to come from the direction it was.
Yeah. That
anybody on the cliffs or anybody on either side of the gorge had a wide open view of these two, definitely of the F4 Phantom, and whatever else it was chasing.
Yeah,
that's what I would like. I would love somebody to hear this and say, "Hey, I did see that." That's what I would love to hear.
Mm-hmm. They may be somebody out there somewhere. I mean, that's been what, 30 years ago?
Yeah, about 34. So yeah, it's been a few years, but something like that just don't leave you.
No, it wouldn't. So I know on the list of stuff you was talking, I know we met you at the Bigfoot convention.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened after?
Yes.
Something weird.
Oh, yeah.
Something weird happened after the convention to you?
Absolutely. The very next day I was working. Okay.
Uh-huh.
This is, I never had this happen before. Okay. I go to a customer's house. I'm performing my exterminator job that I normally do when somebody's not home. I mean, I try to, ask see what kind of pest problems they're having. But nobody was home, so I knocked on the door twice, and I started proceeding to what I was going to, the normal procedures. Well, as I'm going around the house, I recognize the fact that they got multiple cameras everywhere. I mean, they've got two at the door. They got one in front of one off to the side of the garage, one on the other side of the garage. They got another 2 or 3 going around this wraparound porch. And on the back side, they have 3 of them clustered together on the back porch with 2 of them pointing in the general direction and one of them pointing over the swimming pool. I mean, this house is covered in cameras. So, I mean, I don't think anything of it because I do my job. I'm not out there to mess around. I'm just going to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
I no sooner got around the corner of the house and they have a wood line that's about, I'm going to say 30, at the most 30 yards away from the house. And then it looks like it's a small strip of woods. And then there's another break in the woods, like another, maybe where power lines are going through. So it's a nice little opening there. And then it proceeds to another set of wood lines.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as I'm going around the corner of the porch, I'll tell you what, I don't know what this was because I've never heard one before. It sounded like a chimpanzee mixed with a crow. And it was like, wah, wah. I mean, it was really loud. And it made 3 bursts like, wah, and it just, I can't even get close to it, but that's close I get. But it made 3 of those sounds, and it kind of made me stop in my tracks, and I looked in the direction where it was coming. But as I'm looking, that sound is getting further and further away from me, and it does another 3 bursts. And on that second 3 bursts, this deer that was laying on the ground in the wood line, just on this side of the wood line, not on the other side, jumps up and it runs away. And I'm thinking that's not a deer sound. I don't know what that sound was. So I do one of those sounds back, and then in the far distance, I'm going to tell you what, it sounded like it was 200 to 300 yards away from me by this time. It sounded like at the beginning, it sounded like it was 30, 40 yards. Then by the time I made the sound, it sounded like 200 to 300 yards away. So I made a cry out, and it did that same 3 cries again. But I thought that was completely odd and strange because I just came from the convention and I'm at a house, but these people have cameras everywhere, something is bothering them. Something is messing around on their place. And I thought it was hilarious.
Wow. That's
a good story too.
That's a really good story.
Actually, when I get back, I'll service that customer again, and I hope and pray I can actually talk and say, I know this sounds strange, but are y'all having something other than human problems with all these cameras? But then I'll tell them exactly what happened to me, but I don't mind what people think of me. With what everybody thinks of me in 15 cents, I'll have 15 cents,
Right. Hey, the thing is that you're not afraid to jump on here and tell your story, though.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not afraid of that. No, there's nothing anybody could ever bother me about that. I'll tell you the last one with on the silver cylinder, okay?
Yes.
And now, I'll go ahead. I'm going to need to describe it. If you could take this is how big it seemed to me, okay? Because it was just too large to be true, to be real. You know what I mean? Your mind just can't accept that how big this thing was. But if you took like a regular Coors Light can, and it was completely with it had no paintings, nothing. It had a complete flat bottom, flat end, and just a round cylinder. And if you took that at arm's length, and you could put it behind the clouds at arm's length, that's how big it was. Mm. I mean, it was, you know how at 35,000 feet you see airplanes flying above the clouds, and you got a good idea how big they are, right?
Yeah.
This thing was, like I had told y'all before, it seemed like if you could take a bundle of 6 aircraft carriers and just make like a cord of wood, or like a cord bundle of those aircraft carriers, it could easily fit in the end of this thing. With no problem, slide right in and out. No, not a problem at all. But I saw the last. Well, okay, let me tell you what happened. Me and my first wife and her brother were out in the yard flying kite. Well, we was trying to fly kite. It wasn't really happening because the wind wasn't really good in the area it was at. It was blowing, but it wasn't blowing very well because the tree line was probably breaking up most of it. So I stretched out the line, and I was at the kite, and you know how you hold the kite on the rib, and you toss it straight up, and hopefully you catch the wind, and it would fly off. But as I'm doing that, I look up as I'm about to toss the kite up, and there it is, and it looked like I saw the last 200 yards of it going behind the cloud, and there was no features whatsoever. There was no fins or rocket ships or anything. It just looked like a complete smooth cylinder. And it was so shiny, it was reflecting the clouds off the bottom of it. It looked like a mirror. Okay. And that's the one that puzzles me the most, because it's in the middle of the day. I think it's probably close to 1 to 2 o'clock again, somewhere in that frame. We're out there on a May day. You know, it was just starting to get warm. The leaves hadn't really filled out yet. There was a nice, good breeze going on. So we was enjoying this partly cloudy, mostly sunny day. You know, and next thing you know, by the time I see it, and I say, by the time I say, look at that, it had already gone to the point where there was no seeing anything. I don't know how in the world it got behind those clouds and nobody else seen it. You know, there was no sound, there was no fanfare. It was just like a fast moving, you know, I don't know, let's say a blimp or something, but there is no blimp that's ever that. You could easily put cities inside this thing. It was so unreal large. And I know that there's other guys up there, especially guys that talk about the 20 and back, and they got these long cylinder ships that they man or something. But those aren't really close to the description that I saw.
Yeah. Well, we got a caller.
There is.
Oh.
Jeff, are you there? Jeff?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're here.
Am I here?
You're here.
We can barely hear you.
Why can you barely hear me? What's going on here?
Oh, no.
You sent me an invite 45 minutes ago. I've been on the call, talking and commenting all the way through, and you all have not heard a single word I said.
Nothing.
No.
Not a thing.
Nada.
Yep. We could hear you now.
Boss, well, I just want to say, interesting guest, interesting show. I appreciate it, as always. I like to call in and let you all know you're doing a great job. It's reminiscent of the good old days whenever we had a Art Bell show, and I want you all to keep doing what you're doing, and I appreciate it. I didn't mean to interrupt the storytelling. I just, just wanted to say y'all keep on doing what you're doing, and we appreciate everything you're doing.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
You got anything to add to?
That's it.
No.
I don't think you want to.
No.
No, I don't want to interrupt storytelling. I don't think y'all need to know about my interdimensional meetings with demons in the State Fair porta potty.
The porta potty.
Well.
As long as they don't speak nastiness.
Wow.
I tell you what, though, dude, I slept it.
I bet you would.
Just keep. I'm just adding some levity. You all have some good. Have a good night. I appreciate y'all doing what you're doing. Hey, we'll talk to y'all here soon again. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, he seemed like a real smart fella.
Yeah.
He's he calls in from time to time.
Good. Is there anything else you'd like to tell you about? Because I just say you're getting short on time here.
What do we have time wise, Jason? You're the clock man. We have 7 minutes. So, do you have anything as far as where people could set up where someone could reach you if they want to talk to you or anything? Or
well, I tell you what, if you ever get anything like that, no. But if send y'all a message or something, y'all could definitely forward it my way. I mean, I don't talk to anybody. Just see issues. I don't want to give out information like that. I don't mind you telling, because if we're going to take the trouble to ask y'all questions, that's not a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, I found on Facebook. I mean, I'm on y'all's paranormal site. Heck, if somebody wants to get a hold of me that bad, they could go right through that.
Heck yeah. Okay. So you're on our on Paranormal 411?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. What do you think about the site? We spent a lot of time.
Right now, I haven't got manipulate. Figure out how y'all. You had your intro that y'all on the text. I just haven't found that yet. Where it had the announcement, the UFO announcement, and my name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find out, but I just got your text, so that's where I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, on the website and on our Facebook page is where we have all of our guests and stuff like that listed as far as what we're going to have them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Website I need to get a hold of right in their Facebook page.
Did that link work for you? I mean, you seen?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
I've seen the advertisement there.
I wish you could have gotten a chat room. I wish we could have gotten in our chat room, because we have a few people that go in there that we didn't get to talk to tonight.
Yeah, they're in there too. All of them are in there.
Are they?
Yeah, they're in there, but they can't talk. Sorry, everybody in our chat room on paranormal411.org. Our chat room is acting up, and after the show tonight, Jason and I will spend the next 18 hours trying to fix it.
Very good.
That's what
I'm
happens.
Guys, if you don't mind, I'll offer this, and you don't have to take me up on it. But if ever you want and I try to look everything through a biblical lens, and my understanding of the Nephilim, the fallen angels, Bigfoot, all that good stuff, everything that you consider paranormal, I do believe is biblical, and I believe the veil is slowly being lifted off our eyes, and we're going to see a lot more of these things coming on. So if you just want a different point of view, I'm definitely open for anything y'all want to talk about.
Awesome. Okay.
Hey, if you run across anything else too, keep in touch and email us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that chimpanzee crow thing was the strangest thing I've heard in a long while.
What was that sound again? No.
Yeah, it was a strange thing. In fact, y'all met my wife there. At the convention center. I immediately called her up. So you'll never believe what just happened.
That's funny.
So to me, it was awful strange that all those cameras around the house. Because we got several customers, and yeah, you'll have one or two on the front, maybe one or two on the back of the house. No, this house, it looked like they were definitely watching something trying to come in.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
It sure has.
Thank you very much for the phone call and spending part of your Friday night with us.
Yeah, we'll have to.
My pleasure actually is. It was all my pleasure actually, guys.
We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do it again, and keep us in keep in contact with us if some more strange stuff happens. We definitely want to know
Absolutely.
about it because it seems like you have a line for the unexplained.
I don't want no big head. No, I think I'm at the right place at the wrong time, or the wrong time at the right place. I don't know how that goes, but that might be a luck. I don't know if you call that lucky or not, but it definitely is strange.
I think some people, when you open up, they are attracted to you. Things of that nature are attracted to people that are kind of sensitive.
Yep,
absolutely.
I think so.
I believe too, guys. I believe that as well.
Yep, I think you have something going where you could see these things, and that's pretty cool. So that means more than likely you'll be able to see more. So there'll be more stories to come.
It's more loud.
If you ever see a portal open up and something step out of it, let us know.
Well, I'll tell you what, my honey bunny, when she was a young girl, probably 8 or 9, 10 years old, walking through the woods, she saw a portal close. She didn't see it open, but she saw it close. It was just a column of light. She walked around a tree and it snapped shut like a doorway.
That's awesome.
Needless to say, she ran too.
Gone. See ya.
Probably made her the quickest way out of the wood line that she's ever ran in her life.
Yeah. I don't blame her. David Politis talks about a lot of missing people going, missing in the woods, and that may be part of it.
Actually, yeah. Actually, I do believe that to be true. I think we have, at times, we are privileged, and I use that word loosely, to experience something that we never come back from. Certain people do. Yeah. And that's the sad part about it. I think not all children that are abducted, it's the same word, not all people that are taken by humans.
Right. Yep. I believe that. I mean, I think the numbers show 100,000 people just in the U.S. alone go missing every year.
Absolutely.
And are never found.
No trace.
No trace. That's a scary number every year.
Oh, that's probably a good podcast name. No trace.
That's it.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a wonderful night. I thank y'all for letting me on here.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ken. And have a good night and have a good weekend. And we'll definitely talk to you again. I'm more than sure of it.
Yeah.
All right. Absolutely. That'd be great.
We got his phone number now. We can aggravate him.
Yeah, I've got it. It's saved in my phone. Next time you go over to the mission, tell my uncle I said hi.
I will do. It'd be like, who? Who are you talking about?
Who's that? Who's that David Reagan guy? I don't know. I don't know that guy.
There you go.
All righty. Well, thank you, Ken, and have a good night. Have a good weekend. Thank you for your time.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Have a good night.
All right. Good night. Bye-bye.
Ken Bowles.
Wow, that was a lot of good stories.
Yes.
It was.
UFO and paranormal witness.
What do you think about the Bassett helmet? That was pretty crazy.
Pretty wild.
Wasn't it? I mean, he was like coming up and then he turns around and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Remember, we are live on Spreaker and on Podbean. You could also find us at paranormal411.org. Sign up, become a member. It's free. And do remember, we have a book out. It's on Amazon. You could search for East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore, or you could look it up by our names, Jason Scott and David Reagan.
That's right. That's right, Lady Mo.
Join us.
Hey, we'll see you next week. We'll have a good show lined up, hopefully.
Absolutely. You know we
will. Yes. But until then, you can listen to all our episodes on Spreaker, Podbean, Spotify, just any old platform you want to. We're there.
Any and all, pretty much. I don't know if too many we're not on.
No.
But hey, if you're on whatever you're on, rate us, follow us.
And also, if you got any paranormal stories you'd like for us to read on air or anything.
Or if you'd like to come on like Ken and talk about them.
Or come on and talk about them. You can email us at info@paranormal411.org, and we'll be glad to put you on.
Yep, one way or another. Talk about it.
We'll get your story out there.
If you want to stay anonymous, we can do that too.
Yeah.
We don't mind, but we love the stories. The stories are what's awesome. And we also, before we go, want to thank all of our premium members.
Yes.
You all definitely help make this where it's much easier to do. Right, Jason?
Yeah.
And everybody that listens, y'all are fantastic. Have a good weekend, and we will hopefully talk to you next Friday.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Paranormal411. Join us on the website at paranormal411.org. It's free to sign up and become a member. All of our upcoming shows are on the guest and events page. You can also listen to past shows on the website as well. And if you like the show and want to support us, you can do that by becoming a premium member for only $2 a month. Thanks for listening to Paranormal 411. Join us.